I'm trying to think, why did I become a bookworm? Why was I so interested in books? Well, I love languages, but it's also a form of escapism. Reading lets me travel to different worlds, different dimensions, into the thoughts of someone else. Now, what you may or may not know about me is that I grew up in South Africa. And when I was, a kid in South Africa, the world was not as accessible as it is today. So I suppose that, reading allowed me to travel. It was like a portal into another dimension. So, on that note, let's dive into Sherlock Holmes. So, if you are an ESL learner, please let me know in the comments below. I'm really curious about that. And you've tried everything, right? Grammar books, there's some great ones out there. I think it's the Murphy one that I recommend to students. Then there are so many English textbooks, like the Speak Out books. So you've done all of that. You've probably joined courses. I've taught the Wall Street English course. I've taught the British Council courses. I focus on IELTS and PTE and business English. But you've done all of that, worksheets, maybe you've watched videos, maybe you've even binge watched my videos, but nothing quite clicked until now, because I really would like you to give this a try. Watch the video, listen to the story. It's going to improve your listening skills. You're going to 100% learn new vocabulary, idiomatic language, because I'm going to explain the tricky passages to you. And you're going to enter a different dimension, a different portal with me. It's a form of escapism. And it really is going to improve your English skills. So, I mean, what do you have to lose? Nothing, right? So let's do this together today. The Adventure of the Three Gables. I don't think that any of my adventures with Mr. Sherlock Holmes opened quite so abruptly or so dramatically as that which I associate with the Three Gables. I had not seen Holmes for some days and had no idea of the new channel into which his activities had been directed. So basically, I had no idea what he was up to, what he was doing. He was in a chatty mood that morning, chatty, wanting to talk, however, and had just settled me into the well-worn low armchair on one side of the fire, while he had curled down with his pipe in his mouth upon the opposite chair when our visitor arrived. If I had said that a mad bull had arrived, it would give a clearer impression of what occurred. So this guy, Mad Bull, what are you thinking? Angry, agitated. Do you know the idiom bull in a china shop? If you do, let me know in the comments. If you don't, why don't you Google the meaning and share with our community here today? The door had flown open and a huge Negro had burst into the room. He would have been a comic figure if he had not been terrific, for he was dressed in a very loud gray check suit with a flowing salmon-colored tie. Wow, very dramatic. His broad face and flattened nose were thrust forward, as his sullen eyes, with a smoldering gleam of malice in them, turned from one of us to the other. "Which of you gentlemen is Massa Holmes?" he asked. So clearly he's got an accent. Holmes raised his pipe with a languid smile, very lazy, not very concerned. "Oh, it's you, is it?" said our visitor, coming with an unpleasant, stealthy step round the angle of the table. feels very threatening. See here, Massa Holmes, you keep your hands out of other folks' business. Leave folks to manage their own affairs. Got that, Massa Holmes? Got that? Do you understand me? Are you getting the message? Keep on talking, said Holmes. It's fine. Oh, it's fine, is it? Growled the savage. Oh my gosh, now they're calling this man a savage. From a wild bull, he's become a savage. Savage. What do you associate the word savage with? A beast, right? Savage beast. It wouldn't be so damn fine if I have to trim you up a bit. Okay, trim you up a bit? I think he's threatening some violence. I've handled your kind before. Your kind? People like you. But they didn't look fine when I was through with them, so I beat them up and they didn't look so good after that. Look at that, Massa Holmes. He swung a huge knotted lump of fist under my friend's nose. Holmes examined it closely with an air of great interest. Were you born so? He asked. Or did it come by degrees? I love this. Were you born like a savage, or is it something that evolved over time? I love Sherlock Holmes, and you guys know I'm reading it for the first time, so I'm taking real joy in it. It may have been the icy coolness of my friend, or it might have been the slight clatter which I made as I picked up the poker. In any case, our visitor's manner became less flamboyant. Flamboyant is a lovely word. It means a person who has this confidence, this stylishness, bright, colorful, very noticeable, flamboyant. There's nothing quiet or unassuming about someone who is flamboyant. Got it? Right, let's go on. Well, I've given you fair warning, said he. I've a friend that's interested out Harrow way. You know what I'm meaning. And he don't intend to have no butting in by you. So when you butt in, what do you think it means? Do you think it means to interfere? Yes. So you could butt in someone's life. You could butt in when it comes to a conversation. So some people are having a conversation and then you say something, it's got nothing to do with you, you butt in. It's not welcome. It's not a welcome action. Got that? You ain't the law, and I ain't the law either. And if you come in, I'll be on hand also. Don't you forget it. I've wanted to meet you for some time, said Holmes. I won't ask you to sit down. Oh gosh, did he really just say this? For I don't like the smell of you. I don't like the way you smell. But aren't you Steve Dixie, the bruiser? So the bruiser would, I'm assuming that it's someone who beats people up. Let's see what our dictionary has to say. A person who is tough and aggressive and enjoys a fight or an argument. Ah, a professional boxer, a bruiser. That's my name, Massa Holmes, and you'll get put through it for sure if you give me any lip. So, if you give someone lip, it means to talk back. Give lip. So, we often say this with children to teenagers, don't give me any lip. I'm warning you, parents say it all the time. Don't give me any lip. Don't talk back to me. Don't give me any lip. It is certainly the last thing you need, said Holmes, staring at our visitor's hideous mouth. But it was the killing of young Perkins outside the Holborn bar. What? You're not going? The Negro had spun back, and his face was leaden, like lead, steely, icy. I won't listen to no such talk, said he. What have I to do with this here Perkins, Massa Holmes? I was training at the Bull Ring in Birmingham when this boy done gone get into trouble. Well, that's not normal English. So, why are you asking me about Perkins? I was training. That's my alibi. I was at the bull ring in Birmingham, and when this boy done gone get into trouble when something happened to this kid. Yes, you'll tell the magistrate about it, Steve. The magistrate, the judge, said Holmes. So he's already assuming that there's going to be a court case and that this guy Steve is going to be on the stand. He's going to be charged with something. I've been watching you and Barney Stockdale. So help me the Lord, Massa Holmes. So he's getting agitated, frustrated. That's enough. Get out of it. I'll pick you up when I want you. Good morning, Massa Holmes. I hope there ain't no hard feelings about this here visit. There will be, unless you tell me who sent you. Why, there ain't no secret about that, Massa Holmes. It was the same gentleman that you have just done gone mention. It's the person you just spoke about. And who set him onto it? So help me. I don't know, Massa Holmes. He just say, Steve, you go see Mr. Holmes and tell him his life ain't safe if he go down Harrow Way. That's the whole truth. Without waiting for any further questioning, our visitor bolted out of the room. He rushed out of the room almost as precipitately as he had entered. Okay, and there's nothing in our English dictionary, but we don't stop there. We dive deeper. Full definition? Nothing. All right? If you know what precipitately means, please pop it in the comments below. Holmes knocked out the ashes of his pipe with a quiet chuckle. I am glad you were not forced to break his woolly head, Watson. I observed your maneuvers with the poker. But he is really rather a harmless fellow, a great, muscular, foolish, blustering baby and easily cowed, as you have seen. He is one of the Spencer John gang and has taken part in some dirty work of late, which I may clear up when I have time. His immediate principal, his supervisor, his boss, his manager, Barney, is a more astute person. They specialize in assaults, intimidation, and the like, and things like that. What I want to know is who is at the back of them on this particular occasion. So, who's driving this particular situation? There's someone else involved. But why do they want to intimidate you? It is this Harrow Weald case. It decides me to look into the matter, for if it is worth anyone's while to take so much trouble, there must be something in it. So the reason that they are intimidating me is because of this Harrow Weald case. But you know what? If someone is going to the lengths to intimidate me, to threaten me, there must be something here, must be something interesting. So I think I need to look into it. But what is it? I was going to tell you when we had this comic interlude. So this act of aggression, this threat, he's calling it a comedy. Here is Mrs. Mabley's note. If you care to come with me, we will wire her and go out at once. The wire thing again, sending a telegram, sending a wire. So if you've been watching my episodes of Sherlock Holmes, you know what a wire is by now. If it's your first time, well, guess what? You now know that a wire is a telegram. Dear Mr. Sherlock Holmes, I read, I have had a succession of strange incidents occur to me in connection with this house, and I should much value your advice. You would find me at home any time tomorrow. The house is within a short walk of the Weald station. I believe that my late husband, Mortimer Mabley, was one of your early clients. Yours faithfully, Mary Maberly, one of your early clients, one of your first clients. And the address was the 3 Gables, Harrowweald. So that's that, said Holmes. And now, if you can spare the time, Watson, we will get upon our way. If you're free, if you have time, Watson, let's go. A short railway journey and a shorter drive brought us to the house, a brick and timber villa, timber, wood, standing in its own acre of undeveloped grassland. 3 small projections above, the upper windows made a feeble attempt to justify its name. Behind was a grove of melancholy half-grown pines. So are these big, robust, beautiful pines? No, they melancholy, they sad, they subdued, half-grown pines, not fully grown. And the whole aspect of the place was poor and depressing. The aspect, the appearance of the place. Nonetheless, we found the house to be well furnished, and the lady who received us was a most engaging elderly person who bore every mark of refinement and culture. So the house was depressing, but the lady who met us, she was wonderful. She was elderly, yes, but she was very welcoming, she was engaging, and she was refined and cultured. Do you know someone like this? I have to say, the first person that pops into my mind is one of my aunts who passed away. And she was obviously older, so she was an elderly person. She was very dignified, but very engaging, very refined, very, very refined. I remember we live in South Africa. It's really, really hot. There's no need for fur coats, but she used to travel abroad. She was quite fabulous. So she had this fur coat that she would keep in storage, in refrigerated storage. She was very refined. And she traveled around Europe a lot, so she was very cultured. One of the people that I really looked up to, I liked her style, I liked her vibe. Is there someone in your family or someone you know who is engaging, who's refined, who's cultured? Let me know in the comments. I remember your husband well, madam, said Holmes, though it is some years since he used my services in some trifling matter. It wasn't an important matter. Probably you would be more familiar with the name of my son, Douglas. Holmes looked at her with great interest. Dear me, are you the mother of Douglas Maberly? I knew him slightly, but of course all London knew him. What a magnificent creature he was. Where is he now? Dead, Mr. Holmes, dead. He was attaché at Rome, and he died there of pneumonia last month. So, attaché, a person on the staff of an ambassador, so someone who's part of the embassy, and he was in Rome. I am sorry one could not connect death with such a man. I have never known anyone so vitally alive. He lived intensely, every fiber of him. And probably in your life, you've come across people like this. They're so vibrant, they're so energetic, you just assume they'd live forever. And then if they die and it's sudden or it's tragic, you really are shocked because these people are just so dynamic, so bright, vibrant. You expect them to live forever, right? Too intensely, Mr. Holmes. Uh-oh. What does she mean by this too intensely? And then she goes on to say that was the ruin of him. Because he was so intense, that's what ruined him. That's what destroyed him. Uh-oh. Was it drugs? I don't know. Want to put your predictions in the comments? Go ahead. You remember him as he was, debonair and splendid. You did not see the moody, morose, brooding creature into which he developed. Wow, why the change? Why did he become like this? Let's keep reading. His heart was broken. Uh-oh, a romance? Maybe. In a single month, I seemed to see my gallant boy turn into a worn-out, cynical man. Gallant? Come on. Why aren't you giving me definitions today? So someone who's gallant, he's kind, he's good, a real gentleman, and worn out, tired, like my shoes are worn out. They old, they finished. I need new ones, worn out. So if you're feeling worn out, can you imagine like a pair of shoes, right? A pair of shoes that are really old, ragged. They need to be replaced, worn out. So close your eyes and imagine a person who is worn out. They're not vibrant, they're not laughing, they just zero energy, worn out, and cynical. When you're cynical, you don't believe people, you are distrustful. So it's, oh, you're also very self-absorbed. You're only interested in your own interests. So cynical. A love affair, a woman, or a fiend? Okay, a fiend is an evil spirit, a demon, comes from the devil, very old English, very archaic, a very wicked or cruel person. Okay. Well, it was not to talk of my poor lad that I asked you to come, Mr. Holmes. Dr. Watson and I are at your service. We are here to help. We'll do whatever we can. There have been some very strange happenings. I have been in this house more than a year now, and as I wished to lead a retired life, I have seen little of my neighbors. 3 days ago, I had a call from a man who said that he was a house agent. He said that this house would exactly suit a client of his, and that if I would part with it, money would be no object. So they're offering her whatever she wanted for the house. It seemed to me very strange, as there are several empty houses on the market which appear to be equally eligible, just as good, but naturally I was interested in what he said. I therefore named a price which was £500 more than I gave. He at once closed with the offer, immediately said yes, sold, but added that his client desired to buy the furniture as well, and would I put a price on it. So he wanted a walk-in, walk-out kind of deal. Some of this furniture is from my old home, and it is, as you see, very good. So that I named a good round sum. So I gave a good price, a high price for it. To this also he at once agreed. No negotiation, no haggling, nothing. He just said, yeah, sure. I had always wanted to travel, and the bargain was so good a one that it really seemed that I should be my own mistress for the rest of my life. I made such a lot of money on this deal that I was now able to do whatever I wanted to do. Yesterday, the man arrived with the agreement all drawn out. So you draw up an agreement. That's the phrasal verb. Luckily, I showed it to Mr. Sutro, my lawyer, who lives in Harrow. He said to me, "This is a very strange document. Are you aware that if you sign it, you could not legally take anything out of the house, not even your own private possessions?" When the man came again in the evening, I pointed this out, and I said that I meant only to sell the furniture. "No, no, everything," said he. "But my clothes, my jewels?" "Well, well, some concession might be made for your personal effects, your personal items. Some concession, we could agree to it. We could grant you this wish of yours. We can concede it. We could grant it, okay? A gesture made in recognition of a demand, okay? So you want to take certain things? Yeah, sure, we can grant that. But Nothing shall go out of the house unchecked. My client is a very liberal man, but he has his fads and his own way of doing things. It is everything or nothing with him. So, unchecked without being checked, we know that. He's a very liberal man. He's willing to respect or accept behavior or opinions from others, okay? But he has his fads. What's a fad? No, it's not the biochemistry one. It's his own way of doing things, his own idiosyncrasies, okay? It's everything or nothing with him. Then it must be nothing, said I. And there the matter was left. But the whole thing seemed to me to be so unusual that I thought, here we had a very extraordinary interruption. Holmes raised his hand for silence. Then he strode across the room, flung open the door, and dragged in a great gaunt woman whom he had seized by the shoulder. She entered with ungainly struggle like some huge, awkward chicken torn, squawking, out of its coop. I don't think I need to explain what that looked like. Imagine grabbing a chicken out of the coop. The chicken knows something bad's about to happen, and it squawks and it screams, and the feathers, and that's what this woman looked like. Dramatic. What I love about these books is the description, the way he describes people. If you've noticed already in this short story, he described that bruiser guy, Steve, was it Steve, the bruiser, as a wild bull and a savage. And now this woman, tall, gaunt, great woman. He doesn't mean she's amazing. He probably means she's like gigantic. And he describes her like a huge, awkward chicken. So these analogies really create dramatic images in your mind. That's why I love reading. And if you're enjoying this so far, you know what to do. Go and hit the like button. Leave me alone. What are you a-doing off? She screeched. Why, Susan, what is this? So she's not a stranger. The lady of the house knows her. Well, ma'am, I was coming in to ask if the visitors were staying for lunch when this man jumped out at me. I have been listening to her for the last 5 minutes, but did not wish to interrupt your most interesting narrative. Just a little wheezy, Susan, are you not? You breathe too heavily for that kind of work. So Holmes says, you know what? She's been around for the last 5 minutes. She didn't just come here to ask about lunch. She wheezes so I could hear her breathing in the background, but I didn't want to interrupt what you were saying to me about your son. Susan turned a sulky but amazed face upon her captor. And who's her captor here? Sherlock Holmes, okay. Who be you anyhow? And what right have you of pulling me about like this? It was merely that I wished to ask a question in your presence. Did you, Mrs. Maberly, mention to anyone that you were going to write to me and consult me? No, Mr. Holmes, I did not. Who posted the letter? Susan did. Exactly. Now, Susan, to whom was it that you wrote or sent a message to say that your mistress was asking advice from me? It's a lie. I sent no message. Now, Susan, wheezy people might not live long, you know. It's a wicked thing to tell fibs. Whom did you tell? Tell a fib, tell a lie. Susan, cried her mistress, I believe you are a bad, treacherous woman. I remember now that I saw you speaking to someone over the hedge. That was my own business, said the woman sullenly. Suppose I tell you that it was Barney Stockdale to whom you spoke, said Holmes. Well, if you know, what do you want to ask for? I was not sure, but I know now. Well, now, Susan, It will be worth £10 to you if you tell me who is at the back of Barney. So who's driving this? Who's behind all of this? It's not Barney. Someone that could lay down £1,000 for every 10 you have in the world. So someone who's really, really rich. So, a rich man. No, you smiled. A rich woman. Ah, now we have got so far. You may as well give you the name and earn the tenner, the £10. Give me the name, you'll get the money. I'll see you in hell first. Oh, Susan, language. I am clearing out of here now. I've had enough of you all. I'll send for my box tomorrow. She flounced for the door. Goodbye, Susan. Paregoric is the stuff. Now, he continued, turning suddenly from lively to severe when the door had closed behind the flushed and angry woman. This gang means business. Look how close they play the game. Your letter to me had the 10 p.m. postmark. And yet, Susan passes the word to Barney. Barney has time to go to his employer and get instructions. He or she, I inclined to the latter, she, from Susan's grin when she thought I had blundered, forms a plan. Black Steve is called in, and I am warned off by 11 o'clock next morning. That's quick work, you know. All right. Paregoric, a medicine consisting of opium flavored with camphor. Okay. Ah. So he suggests that she tries paregoric to treat her asthma, her coughing. And then he thinks about how quickly all of this happened. So the letter was sent at 10. The postmark says 10. Then Susan talks to Barney. Barney goes to his employer to get instructions. And the employer is a woman, a rich woman, because when he said man, Susan grinned like, you idiot. Okay, she thought I'd blundered. I'd made a mistake. And then the plan was set in motion. Black Steve, the mad bull, came and warned me by 11 o'clock the next morning. So it all happened really fast, right? But what do they want? Yes, that's the question. Who had the house before you? A retired sea captain called Ferguson. Anything remarkable about him? Not that ever I heard of, no. I was wondering whether he could have buried something. I mean, to be honest, that's what I was thinking. There's something of value in the house. Of course, when people bury treasure nowadays, they do it in the post office bank. They put it into a safe. But there are always some lunatics about, some crazy people. And it would be a dull world without them. We need the crazies, right? At first, I thought of some buried valuable. But why, in that case, should they want your furniture? You don't happen to have a Raphael painting by a master or a first folio, first edition of Shakespeare without knowing it? No, I don't think I have anything rarer, more rare than a Crown Derby tea set. That would hardly justify all this mystery. Besides, why should they not openly state what they want? If they covet, if they want, but covet means to deeply, deeply want something. So what do you covet? I covet a Ferrari. I'm not even going to lie. I covet a Ferrari. I also covet a villa on Lake Como. Covet, I want it so much, so desperately. So let's look at the real definition of covet. Yearn, to possess. Covet, covet, yearning. It's deep. Okay. They can surely offer a price for it without buying you out lock, stock, and barrel. I love this. I love this phrase. Lock, stock, and barrel. As a South African native English speaker, surrounded by aunts who loved idiomatic language, lock, stock, and barrel, they used it all the time. It means everything. everything. We packed up the house, lock, stock, and barrel. Everything, lock, stock, and barrel. And which you would not give up if you did know. That is how I read it, said I. Dr. Watson agrees, so that settles it. Well, Watson agrees, so definitely I'm correct. Well, Holmes, what can it be? Let us see whether by this purely mental analysis we can get it to a finer point. You have been in this house a year. Ah, just 1 year. Interesting. Nearly 2. All the better. During this long period, no one wants anything from you. Now suddenly, within 3 or 4 days, you have urgent demands. What would you gather from that? So if this thing were buried in the house, hidden in the house, it would have been here for a long, long time. And people would have contacted you before, but now suddenly, no, it's something more recent. What do you think it is? It can only mean, said I, that the object, whatever it may be, has only just come into the house. Settled once again, said Holmes. Now, Mrs. Maberly, has any object just arrived? No, I have bought nothing new this year. I can't say the same. I'm always buying stuff. I'm a bit of a shopaholic. What about you? Indeed, that is very remarkable. Well, I think we had best let matters develop a little further until we have clearer data. Is that lawyer of yours a capable man? Mr. Sutro is most capable. Have you another maid, or was the fair Susan, who has just banged your front door, alone? Okay, so we heard a slamming of the door. Susan's angry, and she's gone. I have a young girl. Try and get Sutro to spend a night or 2 in the house. You might possibly want protection. Oh, wow. Against whom? That's what I'm thinking. Who do you think she needs protection against? The raging bull? Susan? The rich woman who started this all? Let me know your thoughts and your predictions in the comments, and then we'll check it out at the end. So stay until the end to find out who she needs protection from and who's behind all of this. Who knows? The matter is certainly obscure. If I can't find what they are after, I must approach the matter from the other end and try to get to the principal. Did this house agent man give any address? Simply his card and occupation, Haynes Johnson, auctioneer and valuer. I don't think we shall find him in the directory. It seems like a scam. Honest businessmen don't conceal their place of business, so why isn't there an address on the card? Well, you will let me know any fresh developments if anything new happens. I have taken up your case, and you may rely upon it that I shall see it through. To see something through means to take it to its completion, okay, to see things through. As we passed along the hall, Holmes' eyes, which missed nothing, he sees everything, lighted upon, noticed several trunks and cases which were piled in a corner. The labels shone out upon them. Milano, Lucerne, these are from Italy. So there's some suitcases, some trunks from Milan. This seems to be a link to the sun and Rome, right? They are poor Douglas's things. You have not unpacked them? How long have you had them? They arrived last week, but she said she hadn't bought anything. Why, surely this might be the missing link. How do we know that there is not something of value there? They could not possibly be, Mr. Holmes. Poor Douglas had only his pay and a small annuity. What could he have of value? So an annuity comes from annual, from year, so something, a fixed sum of money paid to someone each year, usually for the rest of their lives. Holmes was lost in thought. Delay no longer, Mrs. Maberly, he said at last. Have these things taken upstairs to your bedroom. Examine them as soon as possible and see what they contain. I will come tomorrow and hear your report. It was quite evident that the Three Gables was under very close surveillance, for as we came round the high hedge at the end of the lane, there was the Negro prize-fighter standing in the shadow. The wild bull savage is back. We came on him quite suddenly, and a grim and menacing figure he looked in that lonely place. Holmes clapped his hand to his pocket. "Looking for your gun, Massa Holmes?" "No, for my scent bottle, Steve. No, I'm looking for my aftershave, my perfume." "Idiot." "You are funny, Massa Holmes, ain't you?" "It won't be funny for you, Steve, if I get after you. I gave you fair warning this morning. I warned you this morning." "Well, Massa Holmes, I done gun think over what you said, and I don't want no more talk about that affair of Massa Perkins. Suppose I can help you, Massa Holmes? I will." "Well, then, tell me who is behind you on this job." "So help me the Lord, Massa Holmes, I told you the truth before. I don't know. My boss Barney gives me orders, and that's all." "Well, just bear in mind, Steve, that the lady in that house and everything under that roof is under my protection. Don't forget it." "All right, Massa Holmes, I'll remember." "I've got him thoroughly frightened for his own skin, Watson," Holmes remarked as we walked on. Okay, so I think he's being sarcastic here. "I think he would double-cross his employer if he knew who he was." It was lucky I had some knowledge of the Spencer John crowd, and that Steve was one of them. Now, Watson, this is a case for Langdale Pike, and I am going to see him now. When I get back, I may be clearer in the matter, so I may have more information. I may know more about what's going on. I saw no more of Holmes during the day, but I could well imagine how he spent it, for Langdale Pike was his human book of reference upon all matters of social scandal. The strange, languid creature. We've heard this word languid before. If you remember what it means, pop it in the comments below. Spent his waking hours in the bow window of a St. James Street club and was the receiving station as well as the transmitter for all gossip of the metropolis. I love this. I love this sentence. He was the receiving station, so he got all the gossip, and then he was the transmitter, and then he broadcasted it, transmitted it to the whole town. What a beautiful sentence. Let's read it again. So the strange, languid creature spent his waking hours in the bow window of a St. James Street club, and he was the receiving station as well as the transmitter for all the gossip of the metropolis of the city. He made, it was said, a four-figure income by the paragraphs which he contributed every week to the garbage papers which cater to an inquisitive public. Okay, based on that sentence, what do you think his occupation, profession was? He was a tabloid reporter, and he made a four-figure income. So he made a lot of money. Four figures, so anything above £1,000 by the paragraphs, by his articles, weekly articles, the garbage papers, the tabloids. And these tabloids cater to, they provide information for an inquisitive public. Wow, what a beautiful sentence. If ever, far down in the turbid depths of London life, there was some strange swirl or eddy, it was marked with automatic exactness by this human dial upon the surface. So if anything was going on under the surface, underground, hidden, he brought it to everyone's attention. Holmes discreetly helped Langdale to knowledge and occasion was helped in turn. So sometimes, Holmes gave him information, and then Langdale returned the favor. To return the favor means to help someone out, someone who's already helped you. When I met my friend in his room early next morning, I was conscious from his bearing, from the way he was behaving, the way he was sitting, that all was well. But nonetheless, a most unpleasant surprise was awaiting us. It took the shape of the following telegram. Please come out at once. Client's house burgled in the night. Police in possession. Sutro. Holmes whistled. Can you whistle? I can't. I really can't. The drama has come to a crisis, and quicker than I had expected. There is a great driving power at the back of this business, Watson, which does not surprise me after what I have heard. This Sutro, of course, is her lawyer. I made a mistake, I fear, in not asking you to spend the night on guard. I made a mistake. I should have asked you to stay there. This fellow has clearly proved a broken reed. Well, there is nothing for it but another journey to Harrowweald. There is nothing for it. There's nothing else we can do but go back to Harrowweald. We found the Three Gables a very different establishment to the orderly household of the previous day. A small group of idlers had assembled at the garden gate, while a couple of constables, policemen, were examining the windows and the geranium beds. Geranium, type of flower. Within, we met a grey old gentleman who introduced himself as the lawyer, together with a bustling, rubicund inspector who greeted Holmes as an old friend. Rubicund? Having a ruby red, ruddy complexion. Rubicund. What a lovely word. I like it. Do you? Well, Mr. Holmes, no chance for you in this case, I'm afraid. Just a common, ordinary burglary, and well within the capacity of the poor old police. No experts need apply. We don't need your help. It's just a run-of-the-mill, mundane, simple, ordinary burglary. Did you hear what I did there? I said mundane, simple, ordinary, run-of-the-mill. I just introduced you to 4 different synonyms. See how this works? If you're enjoying it, you know what to do. Hit the like button, but don't hit like repeatedly because then you kind of unlike. So maybe you want to comment and tell me which word you've enjoyed up until this point. I am sure the case is in very good hands, said Holmes. Merely a common burglary, you say? Quite so. We know pretty well who the men are and where to find them. It is that gang of Barney Stockdale with the big nigger in it. They've been seen about here. Excellent. What did they get? Well, they don't seem to have got much. Mrs. Maberly was chloroformed, and the house was... here is the lady herself. Our friend of yesterday, Mrs. Maberly, looked very pale and ill, had entered the room, leaning upon a little maid-servant, the young girl. You gave me good advice, Mr. Holmes, said she, smiling ruefully. Alas, I did not take it. I did not wish to trouble Mr. Sutro. I didn't want to bother him. And so I was unprotected. I only heard of it this morning, the lawyer explained. Mr. Holmes advised me to have some friend in the house. I neglected his advice and I have paid for it. So I paid the price. I now have to deal with the consequences. I didn't listen to him. When someone gives you advice, you don't take the advice and then bad things happen. You pay the price, right? You look wretchedly ill, said Holmes. Perhaps you are hardly equal to telling me what occurred. So you look awful. You look really bad, wretchedly ill. You are hardly equal. You're not up to it. You don't have the energy. You don't have the strength. Look at what I did again. Hardly equal to. I said not up to it. If you're not up to something, you just don't want to do it. You don't feel like doing it. You don't have the energy to do it. It is all here, said the inspector, tapping a bulky notebook. Still, if the lady is too exhausted, okay, hardly equal to, not up to it. Why? Because maybe she's too exhausted. There is really so little to tell. I have no doubt that Wicked Susan had planned an entrance for them. Oh, maybe she left a door or a window open. They must have known the house to an inch. They knew the house really, really well. I was conscious for a moment of the chloroform rag which they thrust over my mouth, but I have no notion how long I may have been senseless, but I have no idea how long I may have been unconscious. When I woke, one man was at my bedside and another was rising with a bundle in his hands from among my son's baggage, which was partially opened and littered over the floor. Before he could get away, I sprang up and seized him. You took a big risk, said the inspector. I clung to him, but he shook me off, and the other may have struck me, for I can remember no more. So again, unconscious. Mary the maid heard the noise and began screaming out of the window. That brought the police, but the rascals got away. They escaped. What did they take? Well, I don't think there's anything of value missing. I'm sure there was nothing in my son's trunks. The trunks, the luggage. Did the men leave no clue? There was one sheet of paper which I may have torn from the man that I grasped. It was lying all crumpled on the floor. It is in my son's handwriting, which means that it is not of much use, said the inspector. Now, if it had been in the burglar's— Exactly, said Holmes. What rugged common sense. Nonetheless, I should be curious to see it. So he is kind of mocking the inspector, or he's just playing along and saying, yeah, of course, not important, but anyway, let me see it. The word I was looking for was he's just humoring the inspector, like just playing along, humor someone. The inspector drew a folded sheet of foolscap from his pocketbook. And we know foolscap from previous episodes, right? I told you guys I love this word, foolscap. It's a piece of paper, very old kind of English, very British English, a page. I never pass anything, however trifling, said he, with some pomposity. Pompous. Oh, I love this word. Another word that I really like, pompous. Someone who's pompous is self-important, has a reputation for arrogance. Okay? Pompous. That is my advice to you, Mr. Holmes. In 25 years' experience, I have learned my lesson. There's always the chance of finger marks or something. So he thinks Holmes wants it because of the fingerprints. No. Holmes inspected the sheet of paper. By the way, what do you guys think is going on here? Want to share? Let me know in the comments. What do you make of it, Inspector? Seems to be the end of some queer novel, so far as I can see. Queer? Strange. It may certainly prove to be the end of a queer tale, said Holmes. You have noticed the number on top of the page. It is 245. Where are the odd 244 pages? Well, I suppose the burglar got those. Much good may it do them. It's not going to help them. It seems a queer thing, a strange thing, to break into a house in order to steal such papers as that. Does it suggest anything to you, Inspector? Yes, sir. It suggests that in their hurry, the rascals just grabbed at what came first to hand. They just grabbed the first thing that they found. I wish them joy of what they got. I hope they're happy with what they got. They just grabbed the first thing of no value. Why should they go to my son's things? Asked Mrs. Maberly. Well, they found nothing valuable downstairs, so they tried their luck upstairs. That is how I read it. What do you make of it, Mr. Holmes? So this constable says, well, they found nothing downstairs. They went upstairs. They tried their luck, tried to see what they could find if they got luckier upstairs. Tried their luck. Nice phrase. If you are taking notes, put that one down in your notebook, and I will reply to all comments. So if there are any words or phrases that you want more clarification about, just pop them into the comments and I will deal with all of them. Promise. You have my word. I must think it over, Inspector. Come to the window, Watson. So he wants to speak privately. Then as we stood together, he read over the fragment, the piece, the torn part of paper. It began in the middle of a sentence and it ran like this. It went on like this. What do you think it says? Put it in the comments. Face bled considerably from the cuts and blows, but it was nothing to the bleeding of his heart as he saw that lovely face, the face for which he had been prepared to sacrifice his very life, looking out at his agony and humiliation. She smiled. Yes, by heaven, she smiled like the heartless fiend as she was as he looked up at her. It was at that moment that love died and hate was born. Man must live for something. If it is not for your embrace, my lady, then it shall surely be for your undoing and my complete revenge. Something happened, and the author, was in pain, bleeding, and this woman was laughing, mocking. She was heartless. And in that moment, any love he felt for her died, but hate was born. I'm trying to think. Love and hate, opposite sides of the coin. Love turned to hate. Oh, there's a beautiful quote. If you know any quotes about love and hate, share them with us. And so he decides he wants revenge. If I can't have your love, if I can't have your embrace, I'm going to get revenge. Queer grammar, strange grammar, said Holmes with a smile as he handed the paper back to the inspector. So he is not letting on what he's really thinking. It's just like, strange grammar. But he knows. He knows. Do you know? Let me know in the comments below. Did you notice how the he suddenly changed to my? The writer was so carried away by his own story, he got so involved in the story that he imagined himself as at the supreme moment to be the hero. So the author made a mistake. He went from he, third person, to me, first person. His grammar is terrible. This is what Holmes is saying, but we know Holmes does not believe this. It seemed mighty poor stuff, said the inspector as he replaced it in his book. What? Are you off, Mr. Holmes? Are you leaving? I don't think there's anything more for me to do now that the case is in such capable hands. By the way, Mrs. Maberly, did you say you wished to travel? It has always been my dream, Mr. Holmes. Where would you like to go? Cairo, Madeira, the Riviera. By the way, I live on the Turkish Riviera, and I'd like to know what place is on your bucket list. Where would you like to travel to? Right now, Sicily is on my bucket list. This year, I really want to spend some time in Sicily. Oh, if I had the money, I would go around the world. Okay, I like this woman. This woman could be my friend. If I had the money, I would go around the world. I would go on a cruise. I think it's the best way to travel. New country, new city every day or every second day. That's my idea of heaven. Maybe I should put a cruise on my bucket list. Where would you like to go? I really want to know. Quite so, round the world. Well, good morning. I may drop you a line in the evening. As we passed the window, I caught a glimpse of the inspector's smile and shake of the head. These clever fellows have always a touch of madness. That was what I read in the inspector's smile. So the inspector didn't say that, but when he smiled, like, these guys are nuts. These guys are mad. They're clever, but they're slightly mad. That's what his smile said. And there's so much that we can infer from body language, right? Now, Watson, We are at the last lap of our little journey, said Holmes, when we were back in the roar of central London once more. I think we had best clear the matter up at once, and it would be well that you should come with me, for it is safer to have a witness when you are dealing with such a lady as Isadora Plain. So we're going to clear the matter up at once. We're going to get to the bottom of the matter. We're going to get all our answers, but you need to come with me. I need a witness when I'm dealing with someone like Isadora Klein. Who do you think Isadora Klein is? If you've really been paying attention, you know. I know, but do you know? We had taken a cab and were speeding to some address in Grosvenor Square. Holmes had been sunk in thought, but he roused himself suddenly. By the way, Watson, I suppose you see it all clearly? No, I can't say that I do. I only gather that we are going to see the lady who is behind all this mischief. Exactly. But does the name Isadora Klein convey nothing to you? Doesn't this name mean something to you? She was, of course, the celebrated beauty. There was never a woman to touch her. She was so beautiful. She is pure Spanish, the real blood of the masterful conquistadors, and her people have been leaders in Pernambuco for generations. She married the aged, old, elderly German sugar king Klein, and presently found herself the richest as well as the most lovely widow upon earth. Widow, because her husband died. And what's the male form for widow? So if the wife dies, it's, yep, well done, widower. Then there was an interval of adventure when she pleased her own tastes. She had several lovers, and Douglas Maberly, one of the most striking men in London, was one of them. It was by all accounts more than an adventure with him. He fell for her. He was not a social butterfly, but a strong, proud man who gave and expected all. But she is the belle dame sans merci of fiction. When her caprice is satisfied, the matter is ended. So I think we've come across this word before, caprice, and I said capricious was the adjective. Change in mood and behavior, whimsical, her whimsies, she just wants something, then not want something else. And capricious is the adjective. So she's a capricious creature, changes her mind pretty often. So when her caprice is satisfied, the matter is ended, and if the other party in the matter can't take her word for it, she knows how to bring it home to him. So when she's done with a lover, she's done. And if the other person won't accept that she's done with them and moved on, then she knows how to make it very clear. Bring something home to someone, make it very clear. Then that was his own story? Ah, you are piecing it together now. I hear that she is about to marry the young Duke of Lomond, who might almost be her son. That's how young he is. His Grace's mom might overlook the age, so his mother's willing to overlook this huge difference in age. I mean, this woman could be his mother, but a big scandal would be a different matter. So it is imperative, important. Ah, here we are. What's going to happen next? It was one of the finest corner houses of the West End. A machine-like footman took up our cards and returned with word that the lady was not at home. Then we shall wait until she is, said Holmes, cheerfully. The machine broke down. This butler suddenly, malfunctioned, didn't know what to say. Not at home means not at home to you, said the footman. Ah, good, Holmes answered. That means that we shall not have to wait. Kindly give this note to your mistress. He scribbled 3 or 4 words upon a sheet of his notebook, folded it, handed it to the man. What did you say, Holmes? I asked. I simply wrote, shall it be the police, then? I think that should pass us in. I said, well, would you prefer the police? I think we're going to get in. She's going to see us. It did, with amazing celerity. I'm going to say that means quickness. Yeah, swiftness of movement. Fantastic. I'm pretty good at this. A minute later, we were in an Arabian Nights drawing room, vast and wonderful, in a half gloom, picked out with an occasional pink electric light. The lady had come, I felt, to that time of life, when even the proudest beauty finds the half light more welcome. I read this somewhere. It was about some actress who was aging, who realized that the harsh light showed every wrinkle, every line, and then she'd realized and she decided that lighting was important. So softer light, muted light, so that you don't see every line and wrinkle and imperfection. Nice. She rose from a settee, a couch, as we entered, tall, queenly, a perfect figure, a lovely mask-like face with two wonderful Spanish eyes, which looked murder at us both. Uh-oh. What is this intrusion and this insulting message? She asked, holding up the slip of paper. I need not explain, madame. I have too much respect for your intelligence to do so. Like, hello, lady. You know, I know. Though I confess that intelligence has been surprisingly at fault of late, but you haven't been very intelligent lately. How so, sir? By supposing that your hired bullies could frighten me from my work. Surely no man would take up my profession if it were not the danger attracts him. It was you then who forced me to examine the case of young Maberly. I'm not scared. I'm not frightened. And if you remember at the beginning of the video, I said that not much scares me, not much frightens me. Maybe I should go and become a detective. I should take up Sherlock Holmes' job. What do you think? It was you then who forced me to examine the case of young Maberly because you threatened me. I got curious. I have no idea what you are talking about. What have I to do with hired bullies? Holmes turned away wearily. Yes, I have underrated your intelligence. You're not as smart as I thought. Well, good afternoon. Stop! Where are you going? To Scotland Yard. We had not got halfway to the door before she had overtaken us and was holding his arms. She had turned in a moment from steel to velvet. Come and sit down, gentlemen. Let us talk this matter over. I feel that I may be frank with you, Mr. Holmes. You have the feelings of a gentleman. How quick a woman's instinct is to find it out. I will treat you as a friend. I cannot promise to reciprocate, madam. I am not the law, but I represent justice so far as my feeble powers go. Feeble powers, weak powers, limited powers. I am ready to listen, and then I will tell you how I will act. No doubt it was foolish of me to threaten a brave man like yourself. What was really foolish, madame, is that you have placed yourself in the power of a band of rascals who may blackmail or give you away. So they might blackmail you. They might even tell Scotland Yard, the cops, the police, me, what you really did. I mean, there's a lovely idiom, when you lie down with dogs, you get fleas. I just used an animal idiom. Oh, I should start writing again. What are your thoughts? No, I am not so simple. Since I have promised to be frank, I may say that no one, save Barney Stockdale and Susan, his wife, have the least idea who their employer is. As to them, well, it is not the first? She smiled and nodded with a charming, coquettish intimacy. OMG, she is flirting with Sherlock Holmes. Playful, sexual attraction, flirtatious, coquettish grin. I see you've tested them before. They are good hounds who run silent. They like dogs, hounds, but they don't talk. Such hounds have a way sooner or later of biting the hand that feeds them. Beautiful idiom, bite the hand that feeds you. I need you to look this up and put it in the comments. Yes, I know what it means. I know what it means, but I want you to do some research. So, what does bite the hand that feeds you means? Did you say turn on you? Go and check it. I think you may be right. They will be arrested for this burglary. The police are already after them. They will take what comes to them. That is what they are paid for. I shall not appear in the matter unless I bring you into it. No, no, you would not. You are a gentleman. It is a woman's secret. In the first place, you must give back this manuscript. She broke into a ripple of laughter and walked to the fireplace. There was a calcined mass which she broke up with the poker, so it's calcified because she burnt it. Shall I give this back? She asked. So roguish and exquisite did she look as she stood before us with a challenging smile that I felt of all Holmes' criminals, this was the one whom he would find it hardest to face, because she was flirting, she was elegant, she was charming. However, he was immune from sentiment. He was immune. He was not falling for it. So he was resistant to, and what's sentiment? Feelings, emotions. So he was able to resist her. That seals your fate, he said coldly. You are very prompt in your actions, madame, but you have overdone it on this occasion. You're very quick to act, but this time, too much. She threw the poker down with a clatter. How hard you are, she cried. May I tell you the whole story? I think I could tell it to you. But you must look at it with my eyes, Mr. Holmes. You must realize it from the point of view of a woman who sees all her life's ambition about to be ruined at the last moment. Is such a woman to be blamed if she protects herself? The original sin was yours. Yes, I admit it. He was a dear boy, Douglas. But it so chanced that he could not fit into my plans. He wanted marriage. Marriage, Mr. Holmes, with a penniless commoner? He had nothing, no money. Nothing less would serve him. He wanted nothing less. That was his stipulation. He wanted marriage. Then he became pertinacious. He was holding firmly to this opinion, to this course of action. And I think it was at the beginning of the story, right? Pertinacity, right? It was intolerable. At last, I had to make him realize it by hiring ruffians to beat him under your own window. Ah, you do indeed seem to know everything. Well, it is true, Barney and the boys drove him away and were, I admit, a little rough in doing so. But what did he do then? Could I have believed that a gentleman would do such an act? He wrote a book in which he described his own story. I, of course, was the wolf, he the lamb. He made himself out to be the victim. It was all there, under different names, of course, but who in all London would have failed to recognize it? Yeah, he changed the names, but come on, people would know. What do you say to that, Mr. Holmes? Well, he was within his rights. It was as if the air of Italy had got into his blood and brought with it the old, cruel Italian spirit. He wrote to me and sent me a copy of his book that I might have the torture of anticipation. So he was threatening me. I mean, he sent me the book. I knew it was going to be published. He was torturing me. There were 2 copies, he said, one for me, one for his publisher. How did you know the publishers had not reached him? I knew who his publisher was. It was not his only novel, you know. I found out that he had not heard from Italy. Then came Douglas's sudden death. So long as that other manuscript was in the world, there was no safety for me. Of course, it must be among his effects, right? And these would be returned to his mother. I set the gang at work. One of them got into the house as a servant. I wanted to do the right thing, honestly. I really and truly did. I was ready to buy the house and everything in it. I offered any price she cared to ask. I only tried the other way when everything else had failed. Now, Mr. Holmes, granting that I was too hard on Douglas, I was tough with him, and God knows I'm so sorry for it. I am so, so sorry for it. What else could I do with my whole future at stake? I mean, he was going to ruin my name just because I wouldn't marry him, just because he was penniless. Sherlock Holmes shrugged his shoulders. Well, well, said he, I suppose I shall have to compound a felony as usual. How much does it cost to go round the world in first-class style? The lady stared in amazement. Could it be done on £5,000? Well, I should think so, indeed. Very good. I think you will sign me a check for that, and I will see that it comes to Mrs. Maberly. You owe her a little change of air. Meantime, lady, he wagged a cautionary forefinger. Have a care. Have a care. Be careful. You can't play with edged tools, with sharp tools, with knives forever without cutting those dainty hands. So he makes a deal with her. Wow. Wow, that blew me away. I did not expect that ending. Why do you think he made a deal with her? Why do you think he just got the extra money out of her? Why didn't he hand her over to the police? Was it because she wasn't really guilty of anything except not wanting to marry a poor man, of being capricious, of moving from one man to the other? Interesting. Very, very interesting. This is a good one. I don't know. What are your thoughts? Did you enjoy this one? Did he do the right thing? Should he have turned her over to the police? But on what charges? I mean, he got a round the world cruise for the mother, paid for in full, first class, brought her some joy after losing her son. And I mean, the son died of pneumonia and a broken heart, maybe. But you can't send someone to jail for breaking their heart, for breaking someone's heart. You can't send someone to jail for not wanting to marry a poor man. I mean, it's not great character, but it's not illegal. Wow, that was interesting. If you enjoyed it, let me know in the comments. And I'd like to know which was your favorite character in this short story. Was it the bull, the mad, raging, savage bull, Steve? Was it this woman, this aging Spanish beauty at the end? Was it Susan? who was grabbed like a plucked fowl chicken. I mean, there were so many interesting characters. What about the constable who thought he knew everything? And then Sherlock Holmes just humoring him, like, yeah, yeah, you got this. You know everything. It's just a piece of paper with bad grammar. Which was your favorite part of the story? Let me know in the comments. And on that note, thank you for joining me. If you stayed until the end of this, then I'm clearly doing something right. I'm Nas Bookworm, and it is ciao for now.